What's going on, guys? This is Waylon Martin with Bodybuilding.news, bringing you another quick contest update from last weekend. Well, many professionals were competing in the California Pro, alternatively overseas in Africa, South Africa more specifically. We had the Arnold Classic South Africa. At this contest, it was Dexter Jackson who would come back and win another Arnold title. And although I would consider these Arnolds a Tier 2 of the Arnold contest, it's still a very prestigious contest nonetheless. The former Olympia champion continues to impress, and this contest was no disappointment whatsoever. It also has pretty big implications leading into the Olympia, not necessarily because he's going to win it, but it implies he's going to be a threat, maybe to someone like a Kai Green for say. Dexter had a very impressive level of conditioning, fullness, size, symmetry, all brought together in one. And even though he may be not the largest in weight when he's on stage, he's the best quality of bodybuilder when everything comes together. In second place was Roelwin Klaar. Roelwin Klaar has been so hit or miss as of late that you can never predict what's going to happen here. And I have to say, for this show, he was hit. And if it was any other contest, he very easily could have won it had it not been for a former Olympia champion showing up. It seems after dropping grandma, Roelly has found a type of consistency in showing up, bringing condition, although controlling his stomach seems to be an issue at some contests. However, at this one, that didn't seem to be the case. His physique seemed very streamlined, very full, conditioned, and it was a very positive implication for Roelly as well. Now, we know where the bar is set. Is he going to challenge a guy like Phil at the Olympia? Probably not, but he should be able to break into the top 10. In third place, a surprise of sorts was Lionel Buie. Lionel is a really good competitor, and he's very hit or miss when it comes to competing. He has seemingly huge potential, but doesn't always hit the nail on the head. This contest, however, he really brought a great package and overall just was very well tied together. I could understand why with like things such as like the size of his quads, just in comparison to guys like Roelly, for example, he could get notched back. But even then, there's no specific knock on Lionel that I can be like, oh, that's it. You know, he's got huge potential, and I've always thought he's one of those guys that could be in contention for an Olympia had he just had the stars line up. And well, he didn't have them line up per se at this contest because he didn't win it. For the momentum he had from like last year when I believe he got 8th place at a contest, this is a great step in the right direction again, and a great showing for him, especially because he placed above former Olympia runner-up Victor Martinez, who came in a surprising 4th place at this contest. Really positive indications for Lionel as well. Again, like a Roelly, he's not going to be challenging a guy like Phil later in the year. However, he is taking a step or holding his place on the bodybuilding ladder in the IFBB. Now, 4th place was Victor Martinez. As previously stated, Victor is the Olympia runner-up and arguably should have beaten Jay Cutler at the 2007 Olympia. However, this isn't 2007, and the package that Victor brought here, though impressive, wasn't enough to beat a guy like Lionel Buie, who on paper he should be beating handedly. There was nothing particularly off about Victor, it just was that other competitors brought it more. If Victor was at 90%, the guys above him were at 95%, and I believe no one hits 100, so there's some perspective there. In a lineup this deep, it's an impressive placing nonetheless, but it's definitely not necessarily what Victor is probably hoping for. There's no shame in this placing. He looked great, and I believe for what he's capable of pulling at this point in his career, he's doing awesome. However, we don't know necessarily going in the future where Victor's career is headed. I don't believe he's qualified now for the Olympia, so I'm imagining we're maybe going to see Victor again later in the year. And I'm very curious to see if he's going to be able to bring the package again that is going to qualify him even for the Olympia. So we will see. Now, landing just outside the money was Michael. Mike is an international pro who doesn't really market himself. I believe he's a taxi driver in the country that he's from, and just seems like a generally nice guy who's passionate about bodybuilding, and that's displayed in his physique, which is not necessarily the most genetically gifted per se, but he brings an awesome package every time he competes, and this contest was no exception. He really sets the standard of sorts for other competitors in what conditioning looks like. And surprisingly, at this Arnold, very few, if any, well, only a couple guys, but most guys brought very well conditioned package, and so that's why Michael didn't necessarily place higher. However, he still did place well, and he definitely did a good job of doing what he always does, which is bring that consistency. So good job for Michael K. Which brings us to 8th place, John DELAROSA. This was a surprise placing of sorts to me because looking at it on paper, then looking at the photos, I was kind of amazed that he placed this low. But then you look at the caliber of competitors that he was with, and it makes a little bit more sense. John's won shows, I believe, looking very similar to this before in the past. So the fact that he's placing in 8th just goes to show how competitive this show really was, even though it's a offshoot of the main Arnold. With no particular features standing out exceptionally and everything being kind of good, he got pushed to the bottom of the pack here, or near the bottom of the pack. So while this wasn't an impressive placing per se, I did like this showing for John. It was a good representation of him as an athlete, and I don't think it's a big disappointment in that he did look really good. So credit to John on that. Lukas Wyler came in 9th place as a rookie professional, making his second Arnold contest this year after his debut earlier this year in Columbus. Both these contests are extremely dense, especially for a rookie competitor, and he's held his own very well. This contest, he was a little softer than he was. We saw him early in the year, but overall his package is very impressive and he has a very bright future, I believe. He's not really picked up here in the States. I believe that's because he's an international guy, and I'm not sure his English or anything like that. But if his physique continues to improve at this level and he keeps this type of consistency, he has a very bright future ahead of him. And so we're going to skip a few competitors here, but I want to mention someone of note. Marius, I believe is his name, a South African national who's won IFBB professional events. He landed, I believe, in 11th place, near the bottom of the placings here. Similar to John DELAROSA, you look at the placings and then you look at the photos and there seems a mismatch. And it's not until you look at the total lineup in whole that you realize how quality this contest is. And there's not really any shame in this placing. I thought his back double was very impressive, and his front double as always has a good flow and everything like that. Some people complain about his quads, but I like them. This just goes to show how quality this event was. That's my wrap up for the Arnold South Africa. For more videos like this and information in general, you can check out Bodybuilding.news or our YouTube page, etc. Follow me on Twitch, all that good stuff. I'm Roelwin Martin with Bodybuilding.news. Out.